He's back. Reggie Miller Jr. the third. He was on the call for Game 1 of the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. And he's got Game 2 tonight. Then he goes to the Garden coming up for Game 2 on Wednesday with the Knicks and the Pacers. Reg, great to see you. Great to see you.
Oh, was that MJ? Was that my beloved?
Yeah.
My beloved MJ.
Yes.
What a way to be reunited with you, Theodore, and my Danettes. To play a little, MJ.
Well, that's the
day and night.
That's the MJ you like.
That is very true. Yes, that's the MJ that I love, adore, and can tolerate.
Okay. Could you see Michael Jordan doing what Tom Brady did last night?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
There's no way.
Okay.
There is no way that MJ. There's more of a mystique about MJ. There's no way for 3 hours people taking shots. I was shocked when I first heard about it, and then when I watched it last night, because really what a roast is about is your loved ones telling you how they really feel about you and disguising them as jokes.
Yeah,
that's really what a roast is. So
if there was a roast with Michael Jordan, would you take part?
Ooh. I guess I would be the Drew Bledsoe of that roast, I assume, right? Or Peyton Manning. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I could be that close to him without maybe taking a swing at him.
All right. You were there for Game 1 with Anthony Edwards going off. Who does his game remind you of?
Look, I've heard the comparisons. And again, you and I were just talking about MJ, and you know how I feel about him. There's not a lot of love lost. But Michael Jordan is one of one, okay? And I understand that we are all fascinated with trying to find the next MJ. We tried to anoint Kobe. We did Vince Carter, Dwayne Wade, and all those guys. There were similarities. Having said all that, I do see some correlation between Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan. The movement, some of the shots, the fadeaways, how he approaches the defensive side of things. But they're two different players. Again, at 22, and Anthony Edwards is still young, his game is not fully polished yet. It's getting there, and it will get there. But Michael wasn't polished at 22 either. MJ looked like he was floating on air when we watched him play. Anthony Edwards is getting there. I love the way he attacks the basket. There's that similarity with MJ. But I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and say he's the next Jordan, because we tried to do that with Kobe, and Kobe was probably the closest thing. I would put his game, I would say he is more like Dwayne Wade, but with a jump shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with a jump shot.
Yeah.
Because he's not as tall as Mike. Mike was about 6'5", 6'6". Anthony Edwards is about 6'4". But he is more in that flash category, but with a better jump shot.
How surprised would you be if Minnesota wins this series?
Very. And I think a lot of people are counting out the champs. I know they're down one game. They were never down one game last year in their championship run. But, Michael Malone is a heck of a coach. And I know he didn't finish in the top 3 in the, coaching finalists. But there will be adjustments made. And because you lose a home game, you just can't count them out. I know that Anthony Edwards was a lot. Would I be surprised? Yes. But it is a 2-3 matchup. Let's not forget that. But Minnesota, they haven't been in these uncharted waters before. Denver has. So it's one game, and is this their best shot? We will see. I still see this going 6 or 7 game. It's hard to pick them right now. I still would, they're still the champs. And you don't win X amount of games, have the number 2 seed without being successful on the road, Theodore, as you know. So they can go up to Minnesota and reclaim home court. But tonight is a huge game. Now, if they go down and love too, that's a different story.
If the Joker wins another title and another MVP, now we're going into a different category.
He's in a different room.
Yeah, like now he's
room.
One of the all-time greats.
Yeah, I think if he wins his third MVP in 4 years, obviously if he wins a championship, and he'll probably win Finals MVP, he's in a different door of the Hall of Fame and the greatest players, and mentioning him in that way, because we view him a little bit different. In terms of centers, he's on the short list. You know, you've got Will, Shaq, Kareem, Hakeem. And then, I mean, you could put Moses Malone maybe in there. But he's going to be in a very short list if he can win another title, Finals MVP, and obviously a regular season MVP. This will be 3 and 4 years.
And then all of a sudden, you start to creep in. A lot of times we don't let the modern player creep into our heroes. You know, like, well, he's not Larry Bird, or he's not Magic, or he's not, whoever you want to throw out there. But he is right in front of us, right before us, just like Steph Curry. Like, they're moving, closer to the top 10 than maybe we want to admit.
And I think we need to appreciate that. I think that's why we get into this, who's the GOAT between LeBron and MJ. You hear it all the time, and it's not fair. How about just appreciate the guys that are here right now, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and obviously LeBron, because those guys are on the clock, and those guys are home right now because they're on the clock. Father Time, I'm saying it catches up to all of us. They're all fantastic players, but they're home right now. And you see these young guns like an Anthony Edwards, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and these young teams, they're balling out, and they're taking names, and they're making their names off of these all-time Mount Rushmore type players.
Yeah. I'm wondering, is the Laker job in an enviable position? Like, being the head coach of the Lakers used to mean something. Does it still mean something? Is it a desirable job?
It's only desirable because you're playing in front of celebrities, and they're tied with the Boston Celtics for the most championships. But it's a tough gig. It's almost like how, I guess, the Yankee job was back in the Billy Martin days. You and I remember how the turnover was there for a long time, being a manager of the New York Yankees, because you were expected to win every season. And the Lakers are in that category along with the Boston Celtics. They're expected to compete only for championship. And it wasn't fair to Frank Vogel. It wasn't fair to Darvin Ham. To me, I really felt that those two were the scapegoats. You still had LeBron, you still had AD. You won a bubble championship with Frank Vogel, but for some reason they can't coach. And I think you need to look at who put these teams together. If you're going to clean house with the coach, you've got to look at the very top as well.
GMs don't fire GMs.
Well, you got to look at who put this roster together. I'm not saying it's all on Rob Pelinka, but he made the deals.
Yeah. Reggie's on the call tonight, game 2 in Denver. And then you got game 2 Pacers-Knicks on Wednesday on TNT. What's it like when you go into the Garden now as a broadcaster?
During a regular season game, it's really nothing. I think it'll be a little bit more heightened on Wednesday because there's more at stake. Let's face it, right? And I'm looking forward to it. And for those of you wondering why I'm doing this game, it's the same reason why Tony Romo or Troy Aikman, they do Dallas Cowboys games. It's going to be down the middle, right? That's how it is. That's my job, is to call it like I see it. So there won't be any favoritism. I mean, for 18 years, was I an Indiana Pacer? Absolutely. But I'm sure I'll hear the chants. I'm sure I'll hear all those naughty words. I'm good with that. But I'm there to do a job, to call a game. I think this will be a fantastic series.
Wait, do you get booed when you go into the Garden? Like,
Oh
will you
my
get
God.
booed on Wednesday night?
I will be surprised during the game if I don't hear Reggie sucks. I'll be a little hurt if I don't hear Reggie sucks. I kind of want that.
Why don't you go out and take some jumpers before the game?
I just might. I just might.
Just for on the left side.
I'm going to shoot at where Spike sits. that 45-degree angle, just to let him know. Just to let him know.
And you know who goes first. The other guy has to go to that guy's funeral. So if Spike goes, you got to go to Spike's funeral, right? It's a package deal and vice versa.
We will forever be linked. Now, we have put a lot of our baggage kind of under the bridge. You know, we've been friendly at All-Star games, and he was at when we did the All-Star luncheon for the Legends. He was there and presented an award for me. So we've been kind of cool, but we haven't faced our Pacers and Knicks have not faced one another. Now we are. I'm going to be in the building, and tensions are high because both teams have a chance to be in the conference finals. Think about that. The Knicks and or Pacers have a chance to be in a conference finals. So the stakes are much higher. I get it, New Yorkers. The way they took over Philadelphia and how they acted, I get it. But just know the boogeyman is coming back to town to call a game. Okay? I am coming.
I had Rick Carlisle on recently, and I said, who's the best shooter in Indianapolis? And he said, well, I'm going to take Tyrese Halliburton. He goes, but if Larry Bird was around, I'd take Larry. I said, what about Caitlin? He goes, well, Larry's still going to say he's the best shooter in Indianapolis. Who do you think is the best shooter in Indianapolis?
You mean
you're not there? No, who's there now?
Wow. I mean, Caitlin can lace it now. Caitlin can lace it. And so can Tyrese. I already know they probably have shots. So
who would you take in a three-point shooting contest? Tyrese Halliburton or Caitlin Clark? And you can throw Bird in there too.
Right now.
Well,
see, I will say this. Tyrese has been struggling with his three-point shot since the All-Star break. I've been doing my homework.
Okay.
So I might go with Caitlin. Caitlin.
But if you were in Indianapolis.
Come on.
Okay. All right.
You know
that's what I know. I do.
Come on.
The team that fascinates you the most here, if I said Clippers, 76ers, Warriors in the offseason.
I would probably say Warriors, only for the simple fact of this. Is this the end of the dynasty? Because I've been hearing there's feelers out there for Klay Thompson. And look, 4 championships between Draymond, Steph, and Klay. And they've been such a big part of pop culture and changing how our game is played and viewed with all the threes and, you know, playing small ball. And, you know, so I'm more intrigued about what's going to happen with Klay, and is this the end of their run in their dynasty?
I wonder, like I watched Orlando, they desperately need three-point shooters. And I wonder, is there a chance that Paul George would be in the mix or Klay Thompson in the mix? Because, you know, you've got to have at least one three-point shooter. And
not only that, those two guys have veteran presence in that young Orlando Magic, you know, locker room. I think that was the only thing that was missing. And I've told people this on the air. I said that in the first game against the Timberwolves. And the last thing you want to do is be a big. They got up big versus Cleveland in Game 7 on the road, but they kind of showed their youth in the second half. And Donovan Mitchell showed why he's one of the top 20, 25 players in our game. And he has Game 7 experience. If you have a Paul George or a Klay Thompson on this team, that kind of helps balance things out.
Paulie reminded me when we were going to have you on, he goes, you know, Starks headbutted Reggie. And Starks is at these games. Well, you sold it. But Starks will be there at the game. Like you actually had a physical confrontation. Not Spike. Spike, you and just had words. But
Right.
you and John Starks okay?
Haven't seen Johnny Boy in a while.
So he'll be there.
Bring it. I hope Larry's there, Charles. Bring them all. Patrick, do you think I care about any of them?
Well, you're not going to mess with Ewing. You like Patrick. He's a good guy. Oakley, you're not going to mess with.
I could easily make a call and get some of my Davis boys in the arena.
No, but you and John Starks had an altercation. He got thrown out of that game.
We did.
But you're good.
There's been so many games since then.
Okay.
I mean, I believe that game was in '94 when that happened. So there's so many games that have happened since then.
Okay. But when's the last time you've seen Johnny Boy? What, Paulie?
It's been a while. I haven't had a New York game this season at all. So this would be my first New York game, my first Knicks game this year. So I haven't seen them all year.
Yeah, Paul.
I may have seen them.
You're right. This game with Reggie versus Starks is 94. You were doing the Sports Center highlight that night, Dan. And in the clip, the reporter is asking Reggie how it started. And the reporter goes, Reggie, did you say anything to him? He goes, no, I didn't say anything to him all night. And the reporter goes, come on.
There's no way you didn't say something to him.
I don't talk at all. I was just out there to have a competitive playoff type atmosphere game. And then lo and behold, he headbutts me. Did I sell a little bit? Of course, you've got to sell. Like today, they would have went to the replay.
That's true.
It was marginal contact. Listen, what's the marginal contact from Starks headbutting me? All good. Nothing but love, John. I'm looking forward to seeing you and all my lovely Knicks on Wednesday.
I'm sure. What, Marvin?
Reggie's the greatest trash talker ever only because of this. He got Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan to fight him. Physically, they fought him.
Yeah.
Again, I was asking about the shoes.
Yeah, I'll bet you were.
I was only like
but you and Kobe were friends. You worked out together until
we had the same attorney. We had the same lawyer.
And then he stole some of your moves, and then all of a sudden
I'm telling you, see, I'm always the victim here, Theodore. I am always the victim.
Yeah, you are. Great to have you back, Reg. Have fun tonight and then Wednesday night in the Garden.
Love you, Theodore, and I love my Danettes. Marvin, the best addition ever, my friend. The best addition ever.
Oh, thank you, Reg. Thank you.
Well, you're the only addition. Like, we haven't had any other additions.
Right, but he is the best addition to the Danettes.
Oh, okay.
Come on, I'm taking the compliment.
No,
Come on,
take the compliment. Reg will be on the call tonight in Denver with Kevin Harlan, Jamal Crawford, and Allie LaForce. And then the Garden Knicks and the Pacers on Wednesday night.